being here. So I will just start sharing my screen right now. Okay, I think you can all see
Yes, we
my
can see it.
screen. Yeah,
Yep.
perfect. So as Joanna mentioned, today we'll talk about fundamentals of social media strategy and planning. Um, what you will learn today as I divided into 8 parts: the importance of creating a social media strategy, market research and SWOT analysis, defining your target audience or audiences, finding smart objectives, choosing the right channels for your brand because not every channel might be suitable for your specific brand, how to create an action plan, and some useful tools that have been helped a lot in my experience in my years. I would like to share with you. Then, of course, budget allocation, because every marketing campaign should take consideration of budgets, very important for the companies. And in the end, measurement and optimization. So based on campaigns, what you've been doing, how you can learn and optimize on the way. So this is just to give you a few numbers. We are 7.9 billion people in the world, of which 4.6 are active internet users, and of which 3.5 are active social media users. And these numbers are increasing year after year, you would say month after month as well. So every 6.4 seconds, a new account is created. User usually have an average of 7.6 social media accounts. These include Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, you name it, and there are always new ones coming in. And we usually spend 2 hours and 22 minutes on social media every single day, which is quite some time, which gives a lot of advertising space. A lot of our attention is on social media. So that's why it makes a very important tool to market to our target audience. What is the social media strategy? Social media strategy is a detailed plan that outlines your social media goals, target audience, and how the tactics to reach your goals and how you would measure success to be able to know if you're going into the right direction. Why it's important to have a social media strategy? To build a strong organic presence, because when you have, yes, sorry. I think there are some.
Hey, Kiana, did you want to say something? Saw that you raised your hand. So it's okay, Sarah. You can go ahead. If anyone wants to say anything, please drop it in the chat, guys.
Okay, thank you, John. So build a strong organic presence. Once you know your audience, once you know what you want to focus on, you are able to put down a calendar exactly with what you want to talk about, and this will give you more of a strong presence in specific topics that you are talking about. Make sure that your goals are covered. So we will talk about SMART goals and how you can address these SMART goals and how to achieve them. Target your audience more effectively. First of all, you should do research about your audience. You should really get to know your audience in order to target effectively and resonate with them. Have a message that really makes a difference and that they can react to positively. And also improve creativity and create better content, because with a strategy, you'll be able to understand what works, what doesn't work, and also with the research, see what other competitors are doing, see what is trending with new channels, for example, also Instagram introducing new features, Instagram Reels. So always being able to act on these new features. And of course, staying ahead of competition. This is always important, but never to get too obsessed about competition. The idea is not to copy your competition, it's just to be aware of what's going on in the market, have a good understanding of what you're up against, but then always do your own. And at the end of the strategy is, of course, understanding what is working, what is not working based on the results. So that's why it's very important to always stick to data and never to our own opinion. Because without data, you're just another person with an opinion. I know it's very tempting to think people will like this purely because you might like it or your friend might like it, but these are not objective opinions. These are just personal opinions. So it's very important to stick to data and back your decision from the data that you collect and you gather from previous campaigns, and generic, like just what you post and how people are reactive, they're commenting, they're engaging, and they're sharing your stories. A market research should always include a SWOT analysis, a competitor analysis, and specific details about your target audience and your buying personas. Now to go more into details, SWOT analysis, as some of you might know, is a collection of your strengths, your company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths are of internal origin, and these are helpful. These are things that your company already does well, some qualities that make you stand out from competition, internal resource or skilled employees that you have in your staff, or tangible assets such as intellectual properties and proprietary technologies. If we want to have an example of a strength in a company, could be, for example, an attractive price and flexible menu. These I did it previously for a SWOT analysis for a meal plan company, and these was they're all their internal strengths. Weaknesses are also of internal origins, but these are harmful ones, of course. And these are usually things that your company lacks compared to your competitors, that your competitors might do better than you. That's why it's important to keep an eye on them and see how you can keep up or improve some of your products. And any kind of resource limitation that you might have, or if you have an unclear USP, which is unique selling proposition. And this should always be clear with your company, why your company exists and what can they bring to the market, that it's not there, that they won't distinguish themselves in the market, and that's your USP. For example, if there is your meal plan delivery service and you don't have an online payment gateway, that it's one obstacle that you are putting into the customer journey in order to close the sale. This is like it's not a seamless process. Or, for example, you don't have a specific nutritionist that can consult for the clients and give them the custom calories or macro counts. The next one is opportunities. These are of external origin, so they don't come from within the company, but these are helpful ones. For example, if there are kind of markets that are not being served properly, that's an opportunity to jump in, provide an additional product that there is a lack of, but still there is a demand. If, for example, there are a few competitors in your area, then it's a good opportunity because you can jump in. There is still space to serve the market. Another perfect example is emerging need for specific product or services. We all need it with the pandemic. There has been a huge demand for face masks, hand sanitizer, apparel, and whatever, sanitizing everything. So there's been a lot of brands that are just started producing face masks, also fashion brands. This is a great opportunity for the lockdown, such as also grocery delivery, for example. Different brands started doing grocery deliveries. We already had a lot in Dubai, but also worldwide, this has been a great opportunity that a few brands have jumped in. And another opportunity is press media coverage of your company. This is always a great opportunity to highlight your company in the market. About the underserved markets, one example could be the increasing demand of vegan, gluten-free, keto food option. Year after year, they're always more popular. There is more in demand. So if there are not so many restaurants or delivery services offering, that's a good opportunity because there is a demand. So it's good to keep an eye on this niche market as well to jump in. And lastly, there is threats. These are of external origins as well, but these are the harmful one. Could be emerging competitors, which it's a very common thing, especially in Dubai, to have new companies, emerging competitors all the time. Changing regulatory environment, negative press or coverage. For example, the interview of Ronaldo removing the Coca-Cola bottle did had a huge negative impact on Coca-Cola worldwide. So this is a threat that could happen, for example. And also, if there is changing customer attitudes toward your company, so this could also be driven by the negative press or coverage. So the clients could have different ideas about your brand. For example, highly competitive market with new meal plans on the market. Or, for example, in this case of the meal plan, if there is a possibility of new lockdown, when people prefer to cook at home instead of subscribing to a meal plan. So this could be a potential threat if you're talking about a meal plan client. Next, it's a competitor analysis. So step one is identifying your social media competitors. I suggest to always start with the simple Google search. Just type in the words you would use to find your own products and see what pops out. These are your competitors. So you can see the people that are doing, your competitor are doing ads for specific keywords, building from the same keywords. And you can see organically which one are popping up at the first position organically. And these are the one you must stay more focused, because probably are longer time in the market. They have very good SEO, search engine optimization. So you want to keep an eye on these ones. Secondly, you might want to check specific websites specific to your industry. For example, if it's a food delivery website, Talabat, Deliveroo, or third parties service aggregator like servicemarket.com, where they usually put together a lot of companies for a specific service. And so you can get an idea of who are your competition under specific service, the same service that you provide, or the same range of food, for example, that you deliver. So you can get a good understanding by visiting this. Then there is Facebook pages to watch. So in the inside section of your Facebook page, at the very bottom, there is pages to watch. This is how it looks like. Basically, the first one will be your page, total of your page likes, and increase or decrease from last week, how many posts you posted this week, and engagement this week. Then Facebook automatically suggests some competitors, but you can always just remove and add the one that you believe are your competitors. And lastly, there are some social media listening tools like Hootsuite, Sprout Socials. These are usually paid plans, but they give you a good understanding. You're able to just put some specific keyword or hashtag of your competition, and you'll be able to see in a stream all the posts on different channels, either Twitter, Instagram, all the mention that have been about a specific brand, and see if the sentiment is positive or it's negative. And last one is Google Alerts. It's completely free. It's great for PR coverage. You can just input your keyword, the region you're targeting, you're interested in, and you will receive emails with the specific frequency every time whatever the keyword, the brand that you're looking for has been mentioned. So if there is any article coming out for this brand, you will be able to receive an alert. And step 2 is gather data, analyze competitor activity. This is also a very time-consuming job, but you don't need to do it. You do it once at the beginning, and from time to time you just refresh it, just double check what your competition is doing. It's just a manual review of a selected competitor. So based on the previous Google search, and social media search. You define, let's say, 4 or 5 competitors, and then you prepare I would say, spreadsheet where you put the number of followers, engagement rate, posting frequency, hashtag use, and the top post of what they are communicating, which one are performing the best. Another tool you can use, which is super, super helpful, is Facebook ads library. So if you go to facebook.com/ads/library, you will be able to just type the username of your competitor and see all the active ads that they are running on Facebook and Instagram or the Facebook audience network. This is super helpful to see how they're communicating, which imagery are they using to target their audience. And another one, this is not purely social media, is Google Ads. But if you are running Google Ads pay-per-click campaigns on Google search, you'll be able to have an auction insights where you can see all the different competitors that are bidding for the same keywords. And you can see which one has the highest top of page rate and so on. And then, of course, if you want more in-depth competitor analytics, you always have paid some paid software like Sprout Social, Social Bakers, Hootsuite paid plan. This really give you a complete understanding and more of a bigger picture of what's going on. But I usually are used for bigger corporation, have bigger budget, as they may come a bit pricey. And I always say, keep an eye on your competitors, but don't get obsessed about it. As I mentioned before, the idea is to understand what is going on in the market, but you don't want to copy your competitors. You just want to see how they communicate, but then you will create your own campaigns with your own tone of voice, your own brand identity. So it's never about copying, just about knowledge, about common knowledge about what is going on. Because your target audience, they will see not only your brand, but they will see all of your competitors' brands. So you want to just understand how all of this is going on at the same moment. And now we talk about target audience and buying personas. So first of all, you should know if your target audience is a B2B, business to business, or is a B2C, business to client. I always say that the B2B is a bit of the boring one. And because it usually it's more of a corporate kind of environment. The campaigns are usually happen, like LinkedIn is a great tool for B2B, as well as Google pay-per-click campaigns, where B2C happens more in the social media, the fun social media, which is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, because this is where your final clients spend anyway. Everyone is social media users, as we've seen in the first slides. And when creating buying persona, you should try to be as specific as possible. So get all the data you can from all the clients you have previously, their behavior, check with your service client, which one are the pain points, what are they asking for, what kind of need they have, what kind of problem they're trying to solve, and then create a real persona. You need to give a face, give a name to this persona, really make it real as possible. Get to know it. So usually I include a name, a community of interest, age, gender, his occupation, interests, values, preferred channel, devices, pain points, and consumer patterns. So these are 3 personas that I previously created for this meal plan. First one is Hassan. He's a fitness enthusiast, 28, male, personal trainer. His interests are gym, healthy food. He values good nutrition and time-saving solution because he wants to focus on his job and going to the gym. He doesn't want to waste time on cooking, preparing meals, and thinking about macros and calories. Preferred channel are Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Device is mobile because he's always on the move in the gym. So this is your preferred device. Pain points, usually looking for a high protein, low carb diet, and always want to have his calorie count and macro counts. Consumer patterns, he would ask a lot of questions about the nutritious values. Usually, if looking for a plan to bulk up, these are meal plans with the most calories, which are also the most expensive ones. So it's usually always trying to find different new plans with the save a bit the most cheaper alternatives. My second persona is Thomas. Is a community of interest is price-wise, time short, busy professionals. He's 47, male. He's a director and is interested in career, investing, and technology. He values time, family, and working smart. My preferred channel are LinkedIn, Google search, Facebook, and WhatsApp. And the devices is mainly desktop, as he usually sits in an office from 9 to 5, and secondly mobile, because once he gets home, they're on mobile as well. Pain points. So he values the he evaluates time and don't want to waste on grocery cooking or even have to think about what to order. It's very busy, so he really wants time-saving solutions so he can focus on his job. He's looking for a good food at a reasonable price, appreciate the convenience of getting delivered during the working week. And sometimes it could order 2 meal plans, one for himself and one for his wife. Lastly, my third persona is Miriam. She's in the vegan and flexitarian community of interest, 32, female manager. She's interested in healthy food recipes and yoga. And she values vegan causes, environment, organic food, and preferred channel on Instagram, Facebook, specifically vegan groups on Facebooks, blogs, and WhatsApp. Mobile, of course, is the main device. And she is concerned about finding healthy vegan option, non-repetitive for a reasonable price. Looking for a vegan food, but also with a good variety of food. Once you have defined your persona, you should categorize them by high value, low value, hard to reach, or easy to reach. And you want to focus you want to focus most of your marketing efforts on your bullseye personas, which should be the high value, easy to reach one. Another way to get an understanding of your audience is using Facebook Ads Manager. So Facebook allows you to create your own audiences that you can then use for your social media campaigns. I suggest to create an audience for each of your personas, so you can put a specific demographic and interests. And this would also give you an idea of the potential audience reach. And then once you input the budget, you will be able to see with a specific budget how many of your total audience you will be able to reach. Next is defining SMART objectives. SMART, as you may know, stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So one example is, for example, increasing website traffic from new users by 30%, minimum 4,000 new users per month. This is how we want to be specific, from September 2021 to February 2022. This is the time-bound characteristic of this SMART code. Then how are you planning to achieve your goal? So you should define some tactics and choose the right channel. I always suggest to start with your data. If you have any data of previous campaign, try to define a pattern of what have worked and what have been driving most traffic, and then implement it from there. If there is a pattern, you can create. So for example, if specific amount of budget drove me this amount of new users, if I increase the budget, how is this going to change? And then it's always a test and learn phase. In this case, I've defined two tactics. One is launching promotional campaigns on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, to drive people to the website. So the call to action will be visit website, and increase traffic by social by 30%, minimum 350 new users from social per month. The second tactic is using Google pay-per-click, which is the one that it's at the moment driving more traffic, and by increasing also direct traffic 30%. So these are the current monthly website visits. This is the new visit goal, of which 300,000 should come from Google pay-per-click, because this is 60% of what is usually being driving. Is coming from Google pay-per-click campaign. 9% of this is coming from social media. So this would be 495 as per the goal. And 31% is coming from other channel, from referral and from organic search. This is all data that it's available on Google Analytics under acquisition. You'll be able to see which different channels has drove most traffic, and also if there is a conversion action, you can see which one has drove most conversion. And that should help you to make a wise decision about your campaign and where to put most of your money for your campaigns. So RACE model is the strategic planning process, which when applied to digital marketing basically allows an action plan to be structured in accordance with the purchase stage of users. So the different stages are reach, awareness, and visit. When you first reach out to a client, is aware of your brand. The second step you want your client to do is act on your brand. So you want them in some kind of interaction, you want them to become a lead, eventually convert, so sales and profit. And once he's become a client, he's bought your product, you will like the ideal scenario is for him to engage. So to become loyalty and basically about loyalty and advocacy. You want them to follow your page, like your post, and advocacy. You want them to refer your brand to their friends, to their family, to whoever. So this is the ideal life cycle stage called RACE model. And under each one of these stages, you can set a SMART objective that will help you to increase reach and awareness, for example, by increasing website traffic. This is the one that we mentioned before. These are the strategies that also we mentioned before. And this is the KPI, key performance indicator. This is very important to keep track, because this will tell you if your objective is working or not, and if you should change something. So the KPI for the reach in the increased website is increase the number of user visits per month. Secondly is the act. So for example, how can you act and win back 5% of the churn customers every month? For example, let's say we had a subscriber for this meal plan, and the subscriber, he subscribed and he stayed on for like 2 months, and then eventually he canceled the meal plan and he went to he chose another meal plan. So we would like to win back these clients because they already tried the product. Most likely they are happy, but they perhaps just bored. So how can you win them back? So one strategy towards the goal could be send personalized email to churn customers with incentives to sign up again. For example, sign up and we'll give you the free healthy shots added as an add-on to your plan. Give some kind of extra value. Most of the time, it's not all about giving a discount, but give something to make them feel special, to make them feel like this is only for me, it's exclusive, it's unique, because they want me back. So it's about making it personal most of the time. And your KPIs to measure success is the number of churn customers that come back to the meal plan. Sorry. Next step is conversion, so sales and profit. Objective is increase sales by 25% per month. How would you do that? One goal could be, one strategy could be launch pay-per-click campaigns, Google and social, to increase the calls and messages and increase the number of qualified leads. So your KPI is the number of inquiries, conversion, and the conversion rate. of these inquiries. Of course, the higher the conversion rate, the most successful is the campaign. So you should keep good data, a lot of data about the conversion rate and what it's working. And lastly is engage, loyalty and advocacy. So increase the number of profile visits, the number of followers. One way to do it is partner up with influencers, launch giveaway campaigns. And about loyalty, it's about giving values to your customers. So it's not all about just selling your product, but also give them something back. If you know that your audience is interested in healthy eating, then send them newsletter about tips on how to eat more healthy, how to stay active, something that resonates with them, with what they're interested about. KPI could be a number of Instagram profile visits, Instagram followers, and newsletter subscribers. This is some data from We're Social and Hootsuite about the world's most used social platform. Number one is Facebook, followed by YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, Messenger, WeChat with the Chinese chat, TikTok, and so on. It's important that not to want to be on every single platform, but to understand which platform are the right one for your audience. So let's come back to your audience and where your audience spend most of their time, where they bring most of their attention. So that's why I usually suggest LinkedIn. It's very B2B, about professionals. TikTok is usually about the younger generation. So it's just about doing a bit of research, see what's happening, what's working, what is not working. And at the beginning, it's good to do some testing around, try some campaigns on different channels and see how they work, which one they're bringing most traffic, most leads, and which one convert the most. And then just focus on doing maybe 2, 3 social media very strongly. And there's no need to be everywhere for them. And here I put a collection of useful tools for content creation. First one is Canva, which is the one I've created this presentation for. I literally use it for everyone. It's a very simplified graphic design tool. It has a lot of templates, stock images on it. There is a free version and a paid version. You can literally create animation videos. You have GIFs there. You can you can upload your own fonts and your own logos and you can create brand kits. So you have all your brand colors, logo, font in there. So it's very easy to create content without having to necessarily reach out to a graphic designer all the time. So for smaller work, you can do a lot on Canva. Second one is Mojo, which is a great tool to create Instagram stories. It has a lot of ready templates as well. You can easily add music, change the font, upload images. It also has stock images, stock video ready to use. Nice animation also for Insta story for the swipe up. See? And third one, which I'm using on the free version, so there is some ads, is one that allows you to quickly edit videos. So let's say you're creating a video on the way and just want to maybe crop it, add some music, freeze, reverse, change the speed. It's pretty easy to use and you can do all of that directly on your phone without having to go into more elaborated softwares on your computer. So these are my 3 suggestions for content creation. And the tools for scheduling and planning. I suggest, so Preview allows you to play around with your Instagram grid. So, sorry. So play around with your Instagram grid, change pictures, see how they will look like, then also put an overall filter. So easily change the filter of all your picture in once to make it seamless as this. It The premium version allows you to have a lot of analytics. We also have some hashtag suggestions and caption suggestion as well. So this is specifically for Instagram, this is a very good tool. Yet I always suggest to plan your post directly from the Facebook social media planner, which you can plan at the same time on Instagram and Facebook. And this is because based on my previous experience, I've tried scheduling posts on Hootsuite, scheduling posts on Sprout Social, and I always notice that the reach is slightly compromised. While when I schedule directly from the Facebook planner, it's usually have a higher reach. So I believe this is because Facebook always will give more importance to his own channels. Basically, is natively coming from Facebook and Instagram compared to having a third-party tool scheduling the post. And so lastly, every month you would like to create a report, which is very important for you to understand, to get the bigger picture and see what's working, what is not working. Of course, Instagram has its own insights, Facebook has also its own insights page and so on, but these are really good tools, Hootsuite and Sprout Social, to have the bigger picture, especially in Sprout Social. If you want, you're able to see the overall Instagram and Facebook together, so you can get a better idea what's working, what's not working, comparing to the previous month. So this really will make your life easier. Then if you're working in a digital marketing agency or you have a big team to handle, to manage, you have a, let's say, photographer, graphic designer, account manager, social, the creative one, and so the writer, so many people to manage. Asana is a great tool that will literally make emails and Excel sheets completely useless. So if you have Asana, if the whole team is implemented, it's on board with Asana, is using it properly, it's an amazing tool to have a great understanding of the project from start to end, what's the status of the project, which task, you can assign tasks to your team members, you can see what has been done on a specific day, every day, open Asana in the morning and you see exactly what you have to do in that day. So it's an amazing tool, especially when you're a digital agency, you have to create campaign for multiple clients, different clients at the same time. So you can really create some project boards for each one of them. And another one, which is a very simple one, it's Microsoft To Do, which used to be Wunderlist before. And it's pretty simple and straightforward, and it's basically creating lists. On this list, you can assign tasks to your team members. You can invite team members to be part of specific lists. So it's very just simple. Just maybe if you don't have a big team, but just want to give some tasks to your graphic designer, to your photographer, or whoever, the writer, then you can do all of them by creating some lists of specific projects. And then we come to budget allocation. So usually I define budget allocation and divide it by media spend, which is what you would spend on advertising. I usually include Facebook, Instagram ads, if there are Google ads, SMS blast campaigns. If you have a newsletter, so maybe if you're using MailChimp, this could go actually into the tools and software. Another thing is partnership and sponsors. So if you're using any third party to promote your brand, if you're reach out to editors, to media, as a paid media, this should go into this. And also influencers can come into the partnership and sponsors if you're working with influencers to endorse your brand. Then tool and software, these are the tools, some of the tools I mentioned before, Sprout Social, Mojo, and Canva. These are, and usually I always mention the monthly price. Unless you subscribe for an yearly one, then you would just split it. And finally, there is content creation. So, digital marketing is a lot of new fresh content every day, every month. So there's like I always mention price for the full-time photographer, videographer, or if I'm hiring them for specific shoots, specific projects, graphic designer, and then if there is any kind of F&B budget, for example, the F&B spent for example, for hosting a specific influencer or for a photo shoot of breakfast photo shoot, which are all the costs of the food and beverage for this specific shoot. And then you can do your total and then present it to the board, to the manager, and get approval for that. Usually try to send marketing approval. You should aim to have a yearly budget, a 6-month budget, and then always try to, based on what is working, what is not working, just tweak it month by month and see how you can change it. Just at the beginning is always a test phase for budget, so you maybe don't really have an idea what will be working. It's a bit about assumption if you still don't have data. Maybe it's a new brand, don't have previous data to work on. So I always suggest to start with small budget in different channels, do a bit of A/B testing, see, and then continuously monitor what is working and what is not working, and just remove budget from what is not working, add more budget to what is working, and what is driving more return on investment. So as I mentioned, do weekly monitoring of your campaigns. So it's a Sunday morning, open your Facebook, Google, check how the campaigns are doing, if it's what is going on, which ads are doing well, which one are not, and always this is from Facebook Ads Manager. So always try to check the quality ranking and ad relevance. So this is used to be a relevance score before, and now it's been changed to just simply above average, average, and below average. So you want to make sure that your ads are above average. If you have any ad that's been running for a few days and it's below average, pause it, take note what you think, why it didn't work, and just try not to repeat something in the same style, let's say. Try to do something different, something new. And you, of course, repeat the above average, take notes of why they're working, it's working good, keep them on. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Awesome. So if anyone has any questions, we can take it at this point. You can drop it in the chat. If you'd like to unmute and ask a question, that's absolutely fine. Let me just start with one of the questions that Walid has put in the chat. So he's talking specifically about B2B businesses. He knows a company that has social media accounts, but doesn't have any engagement. So what would be a good social media strategy to kind of just start off with?
Okay. I see a lot of, I've seen a lot of B2B companies that they fight to be on Instagram, also on TikTok sometimes. It really are forcing their way on these social media channels. And if you do it, you cannot do it as anyone else. I believe if you do it, you need to do it in a special way. So what is your strength, for example? If you're a B2B, let's say you're a lawyer company, so what you want to do is want to try to tackle what are the most common, for example, questions lawyer gets, the most common issues, and try to respond to them in a way that makes sense for the specific channel that you're in. The most important thing is you don't want to repurpose a content that maybe it's on LinkedIn, it's very serious, it's an article, and just put it on Instagram and hope people will engage in it, because people act like a different person depending on the channel they're on. You're not the same person you are on YouTube, you're not the same person you are on Instagram, you're not the same person you are on LinkedIn, for example. So for example, this could be what you could do is make a Q&A session as an Instagram live with one of your lawyer, for example, and invite people to ask questions directly and make it interesting for them. This could be one thing that comes on top of my mind, like how to be B2B in an Instagram environment, for example.
So I guess what you're saying is kind of play to your strengths, right? Don't try to get everyone to become your follower.
No,
so whatever
just,
is, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, just depending on your audience, what are their pain points? It all comes down to the pain points and how to address them. But the way you would address them on LinkedIn, it's not the same way you would address them on TikTok.
Absolutely.
Or on YouTube. On YouTube, you can do a long video, explainer video, because people that are on YouTube, they are used to, they expect longer videos. On Instagram, you need to catch me in the first 3 seconds, otherwise I'm already swiping, you know?
Absolutely. So he has one more question. Walid has one more question. So can you talk about a few of the components in a social media action plan? For example, a company asked me for a 3-month social media action plan on how will I improve their traffic, engagement, and website redirects.
Okay. Do we know what's the company about?
Walid, if you would like to unmute and just, have this interaction, that's absolutely okay.
Hey, hi everyone. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Hi, Walid.
Go ahead.
Hello. Thank you for this. First of all, thank you for this presentation. It was very insightful. I loved it. And so my question was that this company that I'm interning for is a rubber manufacturing company. So it's very like businessy. Like it's not for customers. Only a specific kind of businesses will buy from it. So they focus on rubber insulation. And so they have an Instagram account, they have a LinkedIn account, and they have a few followers on Instagram, but they have zero engagement on the Instagram. So they wanted me to have a 3-month social media action plan on addressing how I will improve that traffic, their engagement, and then get them some leads on their website. So if you could talk about that a bit.
So I'm gonna be honest, not the most sexy of products.
Yes, I had the same concern. I was like, I've never heard of rubber insulation. How am I going to tackle this?
So you need to, first of all, who are your clients? Where do they work daily? The most probably they are. And is there like, for example, a third-party website aggregator of building materials? Like a website for that sells building material. That could be a rubber insulator or magnesium oxide boards, steel frames, and so on. Something that could be like Alibaba, for example. Where would normally constructor look for these kind of materials? I would imagine if there is any kind of aggregator of building materials, they might go there. So you want to be able, for example, if there is a possibility to have advertising banners on this kind of websites, or I would suggest mostly to focus on Google search ads, pay-per-click, because I would imagine this to be the first step of someone that is looking for this kind of material. The first thing I would imagine they do is do a Google research. Rubber insulation material in Dubai, prices, rubber insulation material, so you can have a good understanding of which one are the competitors and how you can get on top of the page. About social media, if you're talking LinkedIn, you can easily do campaigns targeting the people in the construction industry. People, you might want to target them by their position. So if they're purchasing manager, for example, if this is the kind of role that is in charge to buying these materials, you might want to target them. Then you might want to know which one are the specific characteristic that makes your rubber installation different from the competitors? Why it's special? Is it the price? Is it the quality? Is you have an amazing customer service? You're great at delivering. You just solve everyone's problem last minute. What makes you special? And then focus on that. You might want to share some positive feedbacks from your clients. Ask them for reviews on Google page. You can Google on your Google My Business page. You can easily create a link, share it with your clients. Just after you have sold them some rubber insulation, just ask them, please. It would be great if you could just rate your experience with us. This will mean a lot, and this will, of course, it will increase your rating on Google. Which eventually is where most of these people will look for your materials, and they can find your company there. So this is where I would personally focus my efforts as a first point.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Sarah, for explaining so well. And I'll definitely be connecting with you on LinkedIn so that I can learn a bit more about you and from you and your career and everything.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much for your questions.
Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to raise your hand or drop it in the chat.
Yes,
So,
I
yeah,
have
go
one
ahead,
question. Where should we focus on most, like on Google reviews or Facebook reviews?
For example, in this case, was about construction material, and most of people looking for this kind of product, they mostly most probably start their research on Google. So this is where it's important to focus your efforts. If other kind of companies that you might come across on Facebook, maybe restaurants, restaurant bars, cafes that people usually they might find out on Google, on Facebook or Instagram, and then eventually go to the page. You want to also have some positive Facebook reviews for these ones, but it always depends where the journey of your customer starts. If it starts on Google, if it's predominantly Google, then focus on Google reviews. But if you are very strong, you have a very strong presence on social media, and also check your competitors. If your competitors all have 5 stars on Facebook, then maybe you should top up your game on Facebook as well and start to increase your positive reviews there.
Thanks.
Thank you, Atar. Thank you so much for your question.
Let me quickly ask one question. So, Sarah, having worked on the agency side and the client side, what are some pros and cons of either of those?
So that's
especially for someone kind of starting out. What would be more helpful, to start out at agency or to start out on the client side?
That's a great question, Joanna. Thank you. I'm very happy that I started in a digital agency, because digital agency, it gives you so many different clients to work on. So your experience is just so broad, never boring, trust me. And you really get to think out of the box, because a new client comes and you have this product and you never think about it. So you really need to brainstorm with your team, do some research. So you learn so much in such a short period of time. So it's really good. It's just never boring, really good. The only thing, it might be a bit more stressful compared to the client size most of the time, because you have very tight deadlines. The client seems to be always on your back, squeezing you and asking for this, for that, and then you always need to demonstrate that you're working for them. The biggest challenge, I would say, that every single client wants to feel special. So you need to find a way to make them feel that they are special. They're not just one number and you're not thinking about them, So, and the client side, the good thing is that you really get to know a brand, you get to know the client you work for, and you really become attached to it. You get to learn the brand, to see how it grows with year after year, which is also good, because it's a path that you're walking together. And yeah, I'm just I was happy in a digital agency, but when I was there, I was looking forward to work for a client, and and now I'm working for a client, and I'm not bored purely because my client it's a fun one, blah blah. So it's a lot of things never boring. So as long as you're working for a good client, fun client, you will not get bored. Otherwise, go for a digital agency if you're ever bored.
Yeah, so definitely like pros and cons for
Yes,
both. But for someone
absolutely.
starting out, I guess either way, you definitely get a lot of exposure
Yeah.
from the client side and the agency side. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Right. So I think we should wrap it up. I don't want to keep anyone here for too long, right on the time. Maybe Sarah, you want to share your details with the group as
Sure.
well. If they might want to follow us on social, follow Sarah on social, that's absolutely fine. Thank you
Sure.
so much for being here, Sarah. Thank you for taking us through
Thank
all
you.
of these, different aspects of social, and for really going into so much detail and making it so easy for us to understand. So from Qureos and from all of the apprentices, thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much, everyone. Thank you for joining. It really meant a lot.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
And we really hope to see you back here very soon with another topic.
Definitely. Thank
Amazing,
you.
amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for joining
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank you,
Hope you
everyone.
have a good rest of the day, and we hope to see you in future cohorts and future webinars as well. We're going to wrap it up here for tonight. And if you guys have any thoughts, feel free to share with us. Feel free to reach out to Sarah as well. And we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thanks,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
Thanks, Joanna.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Athar. Thank you.